Good morning, everybody. It is a beautiful Tuesday, the 22nd of September, and we are less than 2 weeks away from doing or hosting our fall Vintage Ag Day show, where we're going to be getting ready for the threshing bee we're going to hold in 2021. So today I'm wrapping up some of the last minute to do things on the project list in preparation for that show. First up, real quick update on the Badger Creek fire. It has burned from right about there. Now let's see. Yeah, right about there in the mountains over to right about there. You can still see a haze of smoke and whatever in the horizon there with the sunrise. Yeah, there's still fires burning up there. They're still having issues. That sucker, the last I heard, was at 100,000 acres, a little bit more. But yeah, the farm came through it in flying colors. The farm wasn't really near the fire, so I was not worried about it catching fire and burning down because of the fire getting here. What I was more concerned about, as you could see in the last video, was the smoke plume that came up over the farm. It had a lot of hot ash and cinders in it. And for those of you that have been here to the farm know that the old milking barn, the garage, and the house all have cedar shingles on them. So I was a little bit more than worried about maybe some of that hot ash landing on that and catching on fire. Fortunately though, knock on wood, nothing like that happened. So we're going to get on today with our wrapping up of our projects to get ready for the show. First up today, while it is still cool, will be the installation of some of the irrigation sprinklers. My son Skylar was out the other day and kind of marked out the spots where he thought they needed to go with the measuring wheel, and we're going to get those put in today. There's only 7 to do, so it shouldn't take too long. The first sprinklers I'm going to install are going to be right here on either side of the driveway, where the bollards are going to go in to protect the pipe where it comes back up out of the ground for the irrigation with the gated pipe. Now my son had marked an X right there where he thought that sprinkler should go, and that's cool and I'd appreciate that, but I think I'm going to move it over here a little further, and the reason being is a straight shot with that line of the cedar fence right there in the driveway. So yeah, water flows in a straight line, so I think I will put the sprinkler back here about where my foot is, or between there and that post. The first thing to do is to get the spot dug out where that sprinkler is going to go, which will be right about there. The sprinkler is fairly tall, about 10 inches or so, so I'm going to have to dig down pretty deep right here to make room for that sprinkler. And now that I got that done, I can use this trenching shovel. You can see how narrow it is, and it's only about 11 inches long. I can use it to dig a trench from where the polypipe trench is over to that hole for the sprinkler. And once I get that done, then I can start installing. You'll have to forgive me, I have not seen or used one of these before. If you have, sorry if I am wasting your time. My son Skylar, in case any of you have been following the videos for a while, works at a sprinkler supply place, and he says these things are the latest cat's meow in working with polypipe, which we're using for the sprinklers here at the farm. Basically what you do is you put this around the pipe and you screw this piece on, and this pointed end drills a hole in the poly pipe, plus this passage through here permits water to come out this end, so you can hook funny pipe or whatever to here and over to the sprinkler. So we're going to give this setup a try today. Like I said, never used it before, so if I'm doing something wrong, if you weren't here to tell me I was doing it wrong, it's going to be too late. Yeah. Okay. We got to start off with a fairly clean surface, so I just wiped it down with my hand. And then this part is supposed to clamp on over that poly pipe, so we'll give that a whirl. And hey, how about that? Okay, let's see if the rest of this works. So what we'll do is I'll grab this piece here, and I guess we just do like he says, start screwing it in. And apparently the pipe wanting to stay around and the water pressure create a watertight seal. And supposedly that's it. I'm done. Now for this project, we're using an Irrigation Titan pop-up sprinkler. It's an E20 model. The sprinkler head, well, pops up out of this cover here. I don't have the little tool to pop it up. I've already got my barb fitting on the bottom of this. It says use no pipe dope, but I went ahead and used some Teflon tape to put that on there with. And what we're attaching this to that orange piece with is funny pipe, something I have heard about, I have seen over the years, but I've never used. And it looks kind of like miniature black poly pipe. But apparently all you have to do is press this on, and there should be enough tension there that you don't need to use hose clamps. Yeah, something kind of like that. So yeah, we'll go over here, set this in the hole, cut this, figure out how long we need, and then backfill. Yeah, and then we'll do 6 more. Well, there is the first little orange bugger installed with the funny pipe heading over to the pop-up sprinkler. I'm going to leave them exposed like that for now, just to check for leaks when I energize the system with water. But I have put a little bit of dirt in there, here and there, just to hold the pipe down. Now to do 6 more of those little buggers today. Yeah. For the life of me, I couldn't find a poly pipe plug with a cap or just a plug. And my son Cooter didn't bother to tell me what his thinking was on what he was planning on doing. Well, I finally found this. It is a poly pipe adapter to funny pipe. So I've cut it and installed it right in the end of the pipe, which I'm assuming is what he was thinking of doing. And yeah, I'll put a clamp on there, and then we'll hook on some funny pipe and run over to that last hole right there. Little apple finger. We'll go over to that last hole for that last sprinkler down here by the raspberry plant. Well, I don't know if you can see it or not, but there is one of the float planes or seaplanes that's coming in for firefighting. Here comes the other one. These are what's been sitting down over at Murtaugh Lake and refilling with water and then going up and dumping water on the fire. Like I said, I don't know if you can see them, but there they are right over me. It looks like the neighbors over yonder there have hired the guy that's farming right next door to them on the other side of their house to come in with this big equipment and level out that field. Wouldn't surprise me any if they've rented that to him and he's going to be growing crops on it. Might as well, it's adjoining property, so they can make a few bucks on that. I just hope he doesn't find a full frickin' propane bottle like I did with my 5-foot mower on the back end of Stinky a year ago. That was a little bit exciting, to tell you the truth. Well, since I have started filming the sprinkler thing today in this little episode, the haze has come back in that you can kind of see behind me there. Yeah, and it's smelling a little bit like smoke, but not too bad yet today. But we're going to press on and get some more projects done. Okay, there's something I didn't show anybody about doing this, and I guess I'd better. What we're running into is a situation where we're concerned about the amount of water getting down to the last sprinkler. If I can get this thing popped out of here. There it goes. What's going on is we have to change the nozzles in these sprinklers. And I don't have the tool with me to do it, so I've got to pull it up by hand, so you have to bear with me. One of the things we need to change is where that little spring is for the back and forth action. Where it's at right now, it is too tight. Because what we're going to do is change the nozzle to a lower volume. So I had to move that spring from this little pin thing right there, I don't know if you can see it, back further on the arm. So it's going to take less pressure to make the arm swing. And the other thing, yeah, sorry about the noise, I am working on a 55-gallon barrel. The other thing is, I don't know if I can get it to get my fat fingers around here. So we got to change out this nozzle right here. It has the standard black, I think it's like 5 gallon a minute thing, and we got to change that out for a red one. The red one is 3 gallons a minute. That's this thing. That's a 3 gallon a minute. And then there's the orange one, which is 1.5 gallons. Now we're using the 1.5 gallons orange nozzle where it's only the sprinkler that's installed in that particular area is only doing 1/4 of a turn. And we're using the red nozzle where it is doing a full 180 degree or a full circle. So we're going to put that in. Really easy to change, and it's done, I believe. Almost. Yeah, so anyway, we're changing those just so we can keep water pressure up. And there it is right there. Keep the water pressure up and the volume going to the sprinklers, or we're going to run short and the sprinklers won't be throwing water as far as they need to. So that's buttoned up. Now all it's time to do is put the fittings on the end and hook it up to the pipes. Now, like I alluded to a minute ago, what is going on with those nozzles and the sprinklers in general is we are almost 250 feet in that run of poly pipe from the pump down to the last sprinkler where the funny pipe's attached and goes over to that sprinkler. Water has friction to it when it moves through a pipe, and that may sound a little odd, but it does. So you always need to go up a little bit in size of your pipe the longer the run is. That's why that pipe is done in 1 inch. Because of the volume of the pump and the size of the pipe that we already had, we have to go to the smaller gallon per minute nozzles. And I said wrong. The orange one is 1.5 gallons a minute, the red is 2, and the black is 3. So they come standard with a 3 gallon per minute nozzle in them, which dumps a ton of water. We're going to have to see what our pressure and volumes look like at the end of the pipe eventually. We may be able to go to bigger nozzles. We may be able to put the reds in and on the ends or in the quarter turns where they're only doing 1/4 of a turn, and then go with the blacks back everywhere else where it's doing like a 180 arc. We went to the lower gallons where it does the quarter. of an arc swing because that's more water in the same amount of time period in the smaller space, so it equals out about the same. So anyway, that's what's up with those nozzles and why we are doing that, because every time there's a fitting, a joint, or distance, you get a restriction in your flow. Same thing goes on with electrical extension cords. The further you go, the bigger the cable you have to get power from point A to point B. Case in point, I had a family member was running I think it was a 16 gauge extension cord that was 100 foot long to run her weed eater with, a little weed whacker string trimmer, and the motor wasn't getting enough power, so it ended up burning that up in a short period of time. I think she'd maybe only used it for 2 or 3 hours, and it fried it. And it's simply because it wasn't getting enough power out to that motor. So electrical and water has the same issue. The farther you go, the more resistance you got, the bigger the pipe you got to go, or the less draw you have to have at the end. I know that was a bunch of technical mumbo jumbo, and you're going, what the heck was he talking about? Don't worry about it if you didn't get it. Give me a call, I'll explain it. Well, it's almost 3:30 in the afternoon. As you can see behind me, we got sprinklers running. Took me a while to get them all adjusted, changing the nozzles and whatnot to make them work right. But yeah, they're in and working now. So, yay me. And the happy finger. Woo! Anyway, don't forget to click like, thumbs up, thumbs down if you don't like it. Leave a comment, and don't forget, hit the little red button down there that says subscribe, if you would please. We're gaining new members watching the videos all the time and gaining views, so I guess we're doing something right that people are liking to see, so don't forget to leave a comment. Anyway, I'm Farmer Dave. I'm going to wrap this up. We're going to finish packing in the sprinklers now that I've checked for leaks, and yeah, going to let them run. Anyway, catch up with you later.